I'd like to welcome everyone to our feature panel. Our panel is entitled From Student to Young Professional. And my name is Eric Linane. I'm the Associate Director for Advising here at the School of Management. I have a bit of a cold, so you'll have to bear with me. I promise I won't start coughing. I'm going to be serving as today's panel leader. But with me today are some very interesting young people, as you guys can see. I'm really sure you're going to enjoy getting to know them. Our 5 panelists include 2 current students, a junior and a senior, as well as 3 recent alums. Our panelists, Dean French and myself, will be happy to answer any of your questions about our topic today, which really is about the development of our students, how they go from being freshmen and just first coming here and trying to figure out what they're interested in, to getting involved in student organizations and figuring out things like concentrations, getting internships, looking into first jobs and interviews, and then finally moving on out into, I guess you could say, the real world and getting out there and living their lives after university. Now a bit about logistics, please, first. Before we get to the panel, our special guest, Dean Jim French of our Feld Career Center, will talk for a few minutes about our Career Center and its services. And after that, our panel will briefly introduce themselves, and we'll open up for about 35 minutes of questions from folks. Our Dean's hosts will be walking around with microphones so that you can ask the questions. What will be good about that is they're mic'd, so we'll be able to hear you at the right volume. And at about, I would say, probably about 5 minutes of 11, I'm going to jump in and indicate that we have only about 5 more minutes of time for conversation. If not all of your questions get answered today, you're going to have plenty of time to ask them again at a next panel or even over lunch. One request, so that we can answer as many questions as we can, not all of the panelists are going to answer every question. And I also reserve the right to kind of try to move things on, so thank you for your patience with me. So why don't we go ahead and begin, and I'd like you to first welcome Dean French.
Thank you. Thank you, Eric. And Eric does move people along. First of all, welcome future SMG students. Congratulations. It's no easy achievement to get into the School of Management, and so, job well done. Mom and Dad, welcome as well. Brothers and sisters, welcome. I'm going to start with a few statistics just so to set the table. Then I'll tell you a little bit more about the culture of SMG and how we get people to go to work upon graduation. As you probably know, in 2012, 93% of our graduates were offered a job within 6 months of graduation at a starting salary of just under $50,000. So it's a pretty impressive statistic. It's among the top in the country, and this is one of the best business schools in the country, no doubt. Employers love our students. They love our graduates. They love our students. They come on campus to meet our students, and they recruit and they hire our students. It is 92% of our students have at least 1 internship. Some have 2 and 3 prior to graduation. So those internships, as we all know, build the bridge for the relationship for permanent placement later downfield. And just in the last 12 months, 230 different employers came to this building to meet our students. 230 different employers from around the world, some brands that you would all know, come here to meet our students. And they posted over 1,600 jobs on our CareerLink website. And just yesterday, there's an employer here every day in the Feld Career Center. If you go out the lobby here and turn left, we have a large staff of people working with all of our students for internships and job placement. And they love our students, the employers love our students for good reason. You don't get into the School of Management without being very bright. But there's also something else besides just being intelligent, and that is the people who come into the School of Management are high achievers. There's a certain profile of the people who come here. They want to make a difference. They want to get things done. And we have a unique model here that I think differentiates us from other universities and other schools. This is a global school. You will go to class with students from all over the world, and that's a learning in and of itself. In some cases, and I've been able to teach here, I've been blessed to teach here for 13 years, In some cases, I have as many as 15 different countries represented in my room. And these are in my classroom. And these are the best and the brightest from around the world in a classroom together. And you can only imagine the cross-learning that occurs when you have that type of dynamic in the classroom. So it's a fantastic advantage you have at SMG when you have all these bright people in this facility. We do a great job of teaching students how to work in teams. As we all know, those of us who are adults, and I had a long business career as well, that is the model. That's how we get things done. There's a good reason why business people put people in teams, because 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 brains are better than one brain trying to solve a problem. We teach our students from day one, from the moment they enter into these halls, that how to work in teams. And not only teams of people like themselves, but teams of people who are very different from them from all over the globe. And those relationships that are built and knitted and so forth. We also do a great job of teaching our students to speak, to hold an audience, to make a business pitch, to present a business case. And as we all know, and Mom and Dad, you know, that the leaders in industry and in politics and in government and in the arts and culture, the leaders are people who can communicate. So we take a lot of pride in developing public speaking, presentation skills for our students. Our students are confident in being able to speak by the time they leave here. So those are some of the added aspects of being at SMG. This is not a vocational business school, if you will. It's not a school where we're just training you to get a good job. And as I've told you before, employers love our students. They come, they hire our students, and they're here every day. But we're much more than that. We're here to develop leaders for tomorrow, for leaders for industry, and for the world. And that means we teach our students to see the intersection of things, not just accomplishing the rigorous, curriculum, the business curriculum that they will conquer here, because it is tough, but we look to see the intersections of the arts, business and the arts, a business and technology, a business and sustainability, a business and geopolitical events, because those are the people who will shape tomorrow, and that's what Boston University School of Management is. It's about shaping for tomorrow. So we're very proud of that. We have a fantastic facility, as you can see, and those of you who have traveled through the building, and you're at a great university in a great city, but you're also in a relatively small college of about 2,000, 2,200 people here at SMG in total population. And so, this facility is always being upgraded. It's a great, again, I've taught here for years, and it's a great facility. It's a great learning environment. The tiered classrooms, the well at the beginning, at the front of the classroom, the technology in the classroom, and you have this diverse group of people, of bright, high achievers, and there's an energy and electricity in that classroom based upon the people who come in and the environment that we've created here. So it's a fantastic facility. And my students will tell me that when they walk across those marble floors, their game is on. They're up. It's a little bit different. You're coming in here, you're with very bright people from around the globe. The class is going to be exciting. Your professors are going to be there and be questioning you and wanting you to participate and drawing you out into the conversation. So your game is on when you come into this building. It's really an exciting place to be. And I was teaching last week, and I asked my students, I said, what should I tell these incoming students? They said, tell them about that energy that when you come to SMG and you're in this learning environment, that you really do step it up and you learn from each other. So I wanted to make that point. We have a fantastic faculty here. We're accessible. We have open doors. We have office hours. Our students become very familiar to us and become our friends. And over the years, I've traveled the globe and met up with former students who are now successful in business. And so we are really a smaller environment within a big environment. And lastly, before I turn it back to Eric, I just want to mention that as incoming freshmen, you will have 4 years of career management courses. Now think about this for a second. Your career is your greatest economic asset. The earning potential of your career is your greatest economic asset. And at SMG, you're going to be taught from freshman year through graduation how to manage that asset. And if you're coming in, you're going to have 4 different modules your first year about exploring career paths, possible career paths. You're going to do a lot of self-reflection of what you want to do, what your strengths are, where your interests are. You're going to begin to be able to answer questions about yourself in a confident way. There's a process that we use where you will actually write out answers, then express them, then write them again, then codify them and put them on a site that's unique to you. It's called it's a portal site that is an e-portfolio where all your work around career management will be stored in one place, and you'll be able to build upon that over the 4 years and take it with you. And so your interviewing skills over time and your elevator pitch and how to network and how to brand yourself and how to get an internship, how to convert the internship into a job, how to take that permanent job, and how to onboard properly so that you're successful once you're in the workforce. And all of that is going to be something that we will teach you, because you will have future SMG students, you'll have probably over 20 different positions in your career. That's a lot of movement and change. And mastering your career management capabilities and having that as a skill is going to be very important, because that does affect your economic ability to take care of yourself and take care of your family. So it's a wonderful program. We're excited about it, and I'll be happy to talk to you more about it, one-on-one or with answering questions. So Eric.
Great. Thank you, Dean French. Okay, folks, before we open up for questions, I'm going to ask the panelists to briefly introduce themselves and say a little bit about their own paths. And I think we'll start to the left.
Hi guys, my name is Sam Kramer. I graduated last May, so class of 2012. I had a dual degree here in hospitality and management. I concentrated here in the School of Management in operations. While I was studying, I had an internship in Australia and in London and one in New York, and now I work for Goldman Sachs in Salt Lake City.
Hey everyone, my name is Maxim Skudarnov. I'm a junior here right now, and I'm concentrating in finance, accounting, and minor in economics. Throughout my 3 years here, I've had internships with Morgan Stanley Smith Barney, Verizon Communications, and this summer I'll be working with PricewaterhouseCoopers.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Emily Berman. I graduated from the School of Management in 2009. I also have a degree from the College of Arts and Sciences in History and a master's from the School of Education. I had internships starting my sophomore year with Teach for America for 3 years in my undergrad experience. I also worked in a nonprofit education firm when I was abroad in Australia. And I joined Teach for America after graduating and am still teaching in Boston Public Schools.
Great. Good morning, everyone. My name is Adanta Hannu. I also graduated from the School of Management, obviously. In May 2010, I focused on international management. And throughout my time at BU, I had a variety of different internships. I actually interned for the mayor's re-election campaign here in Boston. I also worked for a marketing startup company and did some work with public relations. And now I currently work for the Hanover Insurance Group. It's a property and casualty insurance company headquartered outside of Boston. So,
how's it going? I'm Sean. I'm a senior in the School of Management. I'm going to graduate in May. Very exciting. Throughout my career at the School of Management, I interned at Covidian when I was a sophomore. They have their headquarters right in my hometown. And I have interned at PricewaterhouseCoopers when I was a junior. And now I'm going to be working with them full-time next year as a tax associate.
Great. Well, thank you, panelists, and Dean French. And as you folks can see, we have some people with some great experience, all having come to the School of Management or currently in it right now. Like I said, we have a junior and a senior, and we have folks who have graduated most recently or just a few years ago. So at this point, I would love to just open up for any questions people might have. And our Dean's hosts, I believe, will be walking around with microphones. And if you have a question, if you could please raise your hand, that would be great. First, right there.
What was it like, trying to get a dual degree from the School of Management and the School of Hospitality?
So the question was, what was it like to try to get a dual degree from hospitality or others within the School of Management as your primary, and then doing another one as well. And I think we have a couple dual degree folks.
I think that one might have been pointed at me. I found that management and hospitality went really well together. There's a lot of overlap in your intro to accounting courses, your statistics courses, your intro business to law, things like that, that really connect, and they're very similar. So I found that the dual degree was an easy match, and it made a lot of sense because I was really interested in the hospitality industry, but I really felt that the business degree was very important. But I found that they went really nicely hand in hand together. And I think you were a dual degree as well, right?
Yeah, I can speak to that. So I have a history degree from CAS, or College of Arts and Sciences, and there's actually no overlap with the School of Management. I was really fortunate to have a lot of AP courses from high school that transferred as college credit. So I actually came in with a lot of credit. And actually talking to Dean Procopio, I just saw her walk in. She just encouraged me to take advantage of this. And I was always really passionate about history. So while I was overloading with courses and taking a lot of courses, it never really felt daunting because I was studying two things I was extremely passionate about.
Great question. Other questions, anyone? Oh, we'll start from right here in the front. Actually, we'll go over here first.
How do you feel about juggling like an internship and classes and trying to maintain a social life and other clubs and activities? Like, how do you feel about, like, is your stress level like overwhelming? Like,
Just don't sleep.
I think any of you guys could probably answer this question.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think, I'll go ahead and start. I think one of the really neat things about growing up and going to college is the fact that you're finally learning how to really balance your life. So it's the first time where you're on your own, you don't have someone coming to wake you up in the morning. So understanding how to, again, like you said, do very well in your academics while also trying to balance internship, maybe also having a work-study job, maybe also while getting involved at Boston University. And, that's a lot to put into place. But I think one of the great things here is that you not only have the mentors and the guidance from either certain courses that you're taking, where there's a career management course that we have in the school management, so that helps you focus on your career and building a resume and understanding how to write a cover letter and things that, if you just sat at home and waited for that to happen, it's a lot more difficult. But if you have people helping you understand the best way to do it, it becomes an easier process. And then same thing with internships. Again, if you're surrounded by a community of people who are also trying to get an internship and understand how meaningful it is to eventually get a job, it's easier to pick yourself up and also, go do that rather than sitting around in your dorm. But I think when it comes to juggling it, just utilizing your friends, your mentors, your professors, and just asking questions and helping you understand the process, understanding how important it is to write a thank you letter after you have an interview. Little things like that that really do make a difference in you getting an opportunity, and that's something that you learn in a lot of the classes and coursework that you do here. So.
Thank you, Vedanta. Any other?
I think just to add on to that, I think the busier you are, the better off you are. I always found that the busier I was, the better my grades were, the more successful I was in my internships, the more I was able to get done, because you don't come home from class and you're like, oh, I have 4 hours to get this one assignment done, and then just don't end up doing it. So I think that the busier you are, the better you do academically, and the better you learn how to time manage and things like that.
I think it's true. Everybody has to find their balance, what's right for them. And I was very much an organized kind of person who needed also the same kind of thing. A lot of time tied up really worked for me. Others, they might need more time to relax. I think there was another question over here. Yes, ma'am.
Boston's a beautiful city. For the graduate students, I'm thinking specifically about living wages. What's the job market like in Boston?
Massachusetts and Boston in particular has been probably a little bit better off than the nation as a whole with the economy. Our unemployment rate has been below national average throughout this recession that we're coming out of now. So it's been pretty good. Not as robust as past years and past times prior to the Wall Street crash of a few years ago, but it's been fairly good. The housing market here is coming back strong. In particular in Boston, the condominium marketplace has come back very strong. which has fueled other things, obviously, behind that in terms of building and construction opportunities and so forth. So we're actually done fairly well and probably among one of the healthier economies in the nation right now.
I'm thinking specifically to graduates who'd like to work in Boston.
Oh, what
their
companies?
What percentage of the ones, I know it's rough, you probably don't measure it, but what percentage of your
Oh,
graduating students
stay right here in
Oh.
Boston?
who want to be here?
Okay. Yeah.
Relevant job to their major.
Yeah, it probably as much as 50% of our students stay right here. It's a fairly large population of people who stay here. It's an attractive city. It's a young city. People don't want to leave. We have excellent relationships with Liberty Mutual, which is headquartered right down the street, with a major component of Bank of America, which is located right down the street, Hill Holiday, which is located, an advertising firm, right down the street. So we have some very strong relationships with employers right here that want our students. And so students do stay, at least for an initial job, and then they might migrate somewhere else. But it is close to 50%.
Question over here? Yeah. Oh, right there. Yes, please.
In what ways does the Career Center facilitate interactions between students and employers? Is there career fairs or anything like that?
I can speak to this. I actually got my job through a Feld Career Center event, so I am totally pro Feld Career Center. They have courses where the students are required to go to, and they tell you about resumes and networking, and the professor, which was not a professor, it's the Feld Career Center representative who would teach this course. They just pushed and said, hey, we're having this event. Hey, we're having this event. You should come. And I said, why not? So I went to it. It was a student alumni, breakfast kind of thing. And I brought my resume, and I did my research beforehand. And it was just so, it was formal, but it was kind of casual at the same time. And that was just one event. And I did my research beforehand. I saw PricewaterhouseCoopers was going to be there, and put my resume in her hand, and the rest is history. But that's not uncommon to have happen. We have events all the time. I'll be walking to class through the atrium, and everyone's dressed up like this, whereas I'm in my backpack and jeans, just because there's another event for another thing from the Feld Career Center. And I can't thank them enough for having these little events. It was just a great thing, and they make it really easy for you.
Can I just add one quick?
Sure.
Yeah, so one of my internships was actually with the Feld Career Center here. I was one of the career peers, so not only did I have to figure out how to do my own resume and cover letter, but I had to also read other students. So not only do you have an academic advisor and basically a professor who is going through the resumes and the cover letters, but you also have a student who you can go to, and there's I think 5 or 6 of them that are also reviewing resumes. So it's very, very accessible, but also, again, the biggest thing is understanding how to really market yourself, especially in today's world, understanding how important it is, again, to be able to interview. So practicing for interviews. And the Feld Career Center will actually bring in employers to have lunch and learns and information sessions in addition to the career fairs. So from all those different corporations coming onto campus, all those companies coming onto campus, it's very easy to, again, get an understanding of how to get yourself out there. I also got my job from one of the career fairs. So, understanding the elevator pitch and, being comfortable going to someone and saying, hi, I graduated from the school of management, this is who I am. That's not easy for everyone, and you have to be able to practice that, and these courses that we have allow you to do that, so.
Thanks, others?
Yeah. Just a couple of weeks ago, we had a mock interview night. So we had 30 employers come, and we had 160 students go up, dress up. You'll see this, we have our own little traditions here at SMG, and when you're presenting, you'll see students wearing suits, and when we have interview career fairs and so forth, students wear suits, so we'll always know who's presenting what day or who's doing what. But the other night, when we had 160 students and 30 employers, and they went through these mock interviews, because how do you become good at it? It's practice, practice, practice. And there's an energy to that. There's an excitement to that. Just yesterday, again, there was an employer who wanted to see 6 or 7 resumes and 6 or 7 kids that were students, and they're in the Feld Career Center. So just about any day of the week that school is in session, there's an employee on campus here meeting with students. Sometimes it's a large event, and sometimes it's a smaller event. But it is, there is something going on constantly in terms of career management. And that's why the numbers bear out what they do, that the students get hired and get to very good jobs upon graduation.
Great, thank you. Another question, anybody on that side? I don't know if we come over there. No, okay, we're gonna come to this gentleman and then right to the middle, okay? Yes, sir.
Thank you. My question has to do with like determining what you're going to major in, and it's actually, what do you recommend to someone who really doesn't know what they would do within the School of Management?
That is a great question. Yeah, and everybody probably wants to jump on this one. What do you guys think? Max, did you want to start?
Yeah, I think that was kind of my situation too. I came in and I knew I wanted to do business and economics type of things, but I wasn't really sure exactly where I wanted to take that education. So what I did is I joined as many organizations here in SMG as I could, and one of them was Finance Club, which really kind of developed, I guess, my passion for finance. And there are many other organizations here in SMG as well as in BU overall. There's marketing, accounting, various clubs that will kind of tell you, about the job market out there, what kind of jobs you can apply your education to, what you will actually be doing with your education, stuff like that. And then also there's a Feld Career Center, of course, that you can go to and meet with professionals there, and they will tell you, talk about your interests and try to kind of guide you in the right direction.
Great. Others?
I'd like to add on to that. So as I mentioned, when I first came into SMG, I wanted to triple concentrate because I just wanted to learn everything. But when I decided to get a dual degree, it kind of narrowed. So originally I was thinking, I don't even remember anymore. My gosh, it's so long ago. But ultimately, I decided to pursue general management because that concentration allows you to take any 4 courses that spark your fancy. So while I was abroad in Australia, I wasn't limited to which courses I could take. I literally took the ones that interested me most, and that's how I chose my concentration.
Well, it's also important to note, folks, that we do have one major here, in reality. It's Bachelor of Science, Business Administration, but we have 10 concentrations, which is great: general management, finance, accounting. And another important thing to note, too, is you don't need to know right off the top. What is, a student declares their concentration in their junior year, actually March 1st of their junior year. So you have all that opportunity to explore, talking to Career Center folks, peers, organizations, getting to know the faculty so well to understand the industry. We have folks called concentration liaisons, who are kind of the hotshot professors that like to talk to students. And I tell them sometimes you have to keep one foot in the door and one out, because they'll talk your ear off and walk you all the way to the elevator. So it's just a great group of faculty that really get to know our students. And through these interactions, you really learn about what you want to do, maybe even a little bit about what you don't want to do.
Absolutely.
And I think just based off of that almost everybody who comes in thinking that they want to do this ends up leaving not doing that. So I don't know anybody who started saying, I'm going to do finance and actually graduated with finance. You learn as you study and as you learn more about the industry, as you have internships, as they're saying, you kind of find where you think your path is going to lead you. And most people end up changing their mind by the end of the 4 years.
Great question.
In that freshman career management course, gets you into that thinking mode of self-reflection, understanding what your strengths are, thinking about where you might want different career paths and possibilities. So it's exploratory early on, and this is an environment about learning and growing. It's not about just coming in with a mindset and then driving through that. We really want our students to be at a great university and to learn and look at all options before finally making a decision about career.
Great. I think you had a question in the middle there. Oh, was it somebody? Oh, was it? I thought there was that gentleman right there. Okay, sorry. Or that's, okay, right, we'll go right there.
So my question, actually, you started hitting on it. So my question is, I'd like to hear from the students and graduating students as far as your interaction with the faculty. So, if you could describe your interaction, how they assisted you in picking your concentrations, how they assisted you in guiding you, through your career path, and then also just, outside classroom assistance?
I'll take that one. While you're here as a student, faculty have what we call office hours. Basically, it's a set amount of time that they're required to be in their office during the week so that students can come in and speak with them about your classes, career path, whatever it might be. So they're really accessible. They all have offices upstairs on the 5th and 6th floor. Is that where it is these days? And so they're all right here in this building. They're very easy to find. All the faculty love it when students come in and talk to them about whether it be coursework or jobs or whatever it might be. I actually had a professor who was my freshman year professor. He became kind of a mentor advisor to me and ended up being really instrumental in my job, my internship, which turned into a job. He was very, I think this is a great career path for you, and really helped kind of guide me into the direction that I ended up going.
Regarding the concentration liaisons, so as I've said 100 times, I knew accounting was something I wanted to do pretty early on. So BU made it really easy for me to find information about accounting, whether it was the accounting club, professors that did accounting, and there's a specific one I'd like to mention, Professor Patricia Doherty. She's the liaison for accounting people that are going to do the CPA exam. And with the CPA exam, there's so many requirements, and you need to have this class, and you need to do this thing, that it was just, made my mind explode. So it was good to sit down and speak with her one-on-one. She was very flexible to meet with me to say, hey, Sean, here's the courses you need to take, here's what you should be doing, as well as I probably get an email from her every day or every other day saying, not just to me, but to all the accounting people that are, on the CPA track, saying, here's this review course, here's a scholarship for the CPA exam, here's an event hosted by Becker. They just make it really easy for you, and they're just very accessible and things like that. Via email, in person, phone conversations, the faculty, as we've said, are very accessible.
Go ahead. No.
You go for it, Anna.
I was going to quickly say, I think one of my favorite things was the professor's office hours. I know many of my professors, especially before an exam, would hold special office hours where we could come in groups, in smaller groups, and basically have a learning session with them. And any type of questions we had, maybe we already reviewed all of our notes, but we still can't figure out this exact concept, they would sit there and explain that to us. Instead of saying, oh, well, wait for the exam tomorrow, they would want to make sure that it's actually about learning and understanding the material. And to me, I remember that was just one of my favorite things, is the fact that they would actually take the time to do that, because a lot of times you think, oh, they're too busy, they don't want to come, they don't want to have you in your office hours, but they would always host their office hours and then always make extra time if students needed that extra time to go in and see them separately. So for me, that's how I became really close to my professors, is going to those.
I can't sing enough praise about the faculty here. So I'm 4 years out of college, and still anytime I have some extra time, I park right by SMG. I walk right upstairs. Well, first I visit the UPO and I say hi to everyone. But I walk around and I run into my former professors who still welcome me with open arms, and we catch up. They give advice. They maybe suggest I get in touch with somebody else to network. As a bit of advice for future students here, get to know the professors. It's not only advantageous to yourself, but it's also about relationship building and network building. And I found that even outside of office hours, if I emailed a professor and asked for advice or just to meet and talk and see where that led, they were always open to opening their time for me. And I still find that the case. Even last night, I was at an event for the School of Management, and I ran into a professor I never even had, and I suggested, oh, I'm on school vacation because I'm a teacher. Can I meet up with you next week? And she said yes, and that's just one of the many things you gain from the faculty here. They are absolutely phenomenal. I cannot say it enough.
I agree with that fully. It's a very approachable, personable, and nice faculty member group. What's good and interesting about our faculty advising, I guess you could say, is that our faculty don't particularly choose courses all the time with students. We have an academic advising office that helps with that. So faculty are free to develop mentoring relationships with students, about industry, understanding about, what they're going to do. They really get to know our students. And actually, when I go into the freshman class, if you guys are here, I go into your introductory course and I challenge every one of you to get to know 3 or 4 faculty members by the time you graduate so well, because they help with getting your resumes and help you with searching for student leadership type things for your letters of recommendation, jobs, graduate school, I do find, just like Emily said, that students stay connected for a long, long time. It's wonderful to see. That was a great question. Other questions? We've been sitting up front here and over in the back. Gentleman right there, we were going to go to you next, I believe. There we go, the guy in the sweatshirt right there.
What type of courses can we expect to take as a freshman? How many of those are from the School of Management, and does that number change as we go through sophomore, junior, and senior year? Basically.
Well, I could tell you a little bit. I can jump into that one because the reason why, as I told these guys, the curriculum, as you guys know, is changing a little bit. So what happens is in your freshman year, you're going to wind up taking a course called Business, Society, and Ethics, a 4-credit course. You're also going to be taking a course in finance, a 2-credit course or an introductory finance course. You're also going to be taking a course on creating value in the world. You're going to learn about sectors, another 2-credit course in that as well. Along with that, you'll be doing some of your other courses, which are traditionally, I guess you could say, a little outside of School of Management, but still core fundamental required courses for us. Micro and macroeconomics, calculus, writing, things like that. So you're going to, in your first year, be getting a really sound grounding in management, as well as some of the more important skills like understanding trends in economics, writing skills, mathematical, analytical skills, that kind of stuff. I don't know, anybody else like any comments?
Well, and you'll be required to take career management, the first course level.
Can I also just say how important that this freshman year at BU is? I think that really defines this business school from other ones. This business, society, and ethics class, you're learning business concepts from day one. Other schools, they'll put you in a lot of liberal arts classes, and you'll kind of get a business feel by the time you're a junior. Here, I was learning balance sheets, income statements, throughput times, time value of money, just pretty big business concepts from day one, and that put me and all these other students here at a huge advantage over other schools for internships, and just I felt more knowledgeable when speaking with professors or anyone. So just that introduction to business concepts from day one as a freshman is just amazing.
Great question. I'm going to come over here to this lady first, right there in the red.
I think you mentioned about how you got like a double major degree or concentration. I'm not sure. In a a different school than this school. So do you have to be accepted twice, or can you just transfer and do multiple things from different schools, or how does that work?
Great question. So when I was a sophomore, I had to apply to the additional school. And is that still the same? Okay, so you have to literally apply, but you ultimately get accepted. I can't imagine that you wouldn't. I don't know if I'm not allowed to say that right now.
A minimum grade in the introductory course from the other school. And if you get that, it's usually B. And most of the folks who do pursue that usually go for that. And it's just some paperwork and 2 degrees.
Yeah, and it does have to be by a certain date because it's not truly feasible for you to complete both degrees if you're only entering the second school your junior or even senior year. So you have to decide that relatively early on.
Another question right there, ma'am. And we will have time for about 2 more after this one, folks, and then we'll need to break.
When you all talk about the internships, when are those internships going on? Is it the summer? Is it during breaks? How can you be doing an internship if you're a full-time student? So I'm curious.
I'll start with that one. I did internships during the summer, during the school year, during breaks. I did them kind of all throughout. My summer between my freshman and my sophomore year, I studied abroad in Australia, and the program there also has an internship component, so part of your class credit is internships. Then my sophomore year, I did about 15 hours a week at another internship in the city of Boston. And then the following year, I studied abroad again in London, same type of program where you get credit for your internship. And then both summers as well, I was interning. So I think it's just kind of balancing where it works with your schedule, how it works with your course load, things like that. But the internships are really, I think, very important in kind of driving where you think your career might go, because at least for me, it really helped point me in the direction that I felt like I might be interested in a career. I was really interested in the hospitality industry when I first came in, and it turned out that I'm now working in finance, which I never thought would happen, and that's because of my internships. I did some hospitality internships and decided that it wasn't quite for me. And then I did a finance internship and really liked it. So
I would say majority of internships happen in the summer. That's, I would say, when most people do them. When I was in college, which was only a few years ago, but still, I would say most people got their internships, junior going to senior year. Now, I know it's starting your freshman going to sophomore year, or sometimes even out of high school. But the thing is interacting with people, because one of the big things about internships is helping you understand what you don't want to do. Sometimes it's not about what you think you want to go into, but what you can filter out what you don't want to do. So again, a majority of it, I would say, starts in the summer. You'll apply in the spring and get something in the summer, and then a lot of people will continue working maybe where they were working before for the summer, but part-time. So you do those 10 to 15 hours per week. But yeah.
Great. Okay, we do have time for one more question right here, gentleman, right there, and then I'm sure we'll be able to answer your questions also afterwards at the different panels, and we're walking up to lunch. But sir, the last question.
Boston is a great town with lots of very highly rated universities, including, of course, Boston University. I guess my question is twofold. One, what does that do in terms of your ability to make your contacts and the business impact of the companies looking? Does that help or hurt you because of the competition? And two, how does that affect student life? Is there a lot of interaction across all these schools, or are they too competitive? Or
in hockey, yes. Anyone? Yeah.
In terms of job searching, I think I never felt like I was kind of set back by the fact that there are other universities here in Boston across the river. I think Feld Career, again, does a great job. The classes prepare you for the team environment and the public speaking and the interviews. I generally felt very prepared for my internships all the time. As far as interactions with other students, it's really, I think, up to the student. If you want to meet other students from Harvard or MIT or anything else, there are plenty of conferences going on in the Boston area all the time, but it's not, it's not mandatory as a part of a program or anything, of course.
I think to add on to that one of the great benefits of being a student in Boston is that the city is a fifth student. So that's a huge population of people between 18 and 22 or 23, whatever the age might be, that you're able to network with and become friends with, and think of the possibilities that leads to later in life. So I think that being in a city that's so highly populated with students and people that are your age is a really great benefit of Boston.
We do have events around career sometimes where schools will combine, and just the other night we had an alum who is an expert on personal branding, and we had people from MIT across the river come over and attend the seminar as well. And we're invited over there at times and other places. So there is a competition, but there is a cooperation too.
So folks, we are just about out of time. I want to thank the panelists and Dean French for being here today. Thank you all. And I hope you learned a little bit more about how our students grow and develop as to be getting into their lives after college. So please take a fast break. We'll have our next session starting up in about 5 minutes. Thank you.